giving Raymond Floyd some pointers on the golf swing. Raymond Floyd is one of the best golfers of all time. You know, he's won all of the big tournaments.
Maria, right here.
His late wife, Maria, is the one that introduced my wife, Marianne, and I.
We met New Year's Day at Raymond and Maria Floyd's house, and I was blown away with his confidence because I actually showed up with a date, and he ignored my date, and before he left, he said, "I'd really like to call you sometime."
You could just sense it, how he felt about her when she came around and he was around the team. It was no longer about the team, it was about her.
Don had told me, "Marianne, I want to take you places you've never been." And I was pretty excited about that, but he took me to Buffalo. He took me to Foxborough. He took me to the Combine. I cherish being with him. I cherish his presence next to me. We have a beautiful, beautiful life together.
In November of 2012, Don and Marianne watched the last undefeated team fall. A month later, the Shulas hosted a 40th year reunion for the NFL's only perfect team.
Coach and I both have been so excited all week that you guys are coming. He's still like beside himself. He's so happy. It's like having, it's like having all his children back.
Absolutely, yeah. Hey, Merv. Mickey. Darrow. Hey, Mom. How you doing? How you doing?
It's a tradition they hold every 10 years. And will continue to hold as long as the record lasts.
As long as they're with the tall one, right? Yes. Right there, yeah. He's the farthest one to the left shaking hands. Yeah.
You know, when you think about 40 years, it was actually 50 years before that, and then 40 years since that's happened. So it's been about 100 years with only one team doing it. So I think it tells you a little bit about how tough it was to do. So that's why occasionally we get together and toast each other about that great accomplishment.
Here's the 40 years, and here's the 40 more.
It's interesting the way that's looked at around the country as a bunch of bitter old men hanging on to a piece of their past in a way that's unbecoming or small. But if you had something on your resume that had never been done in sports, damn straight you would pop champagne every year to celebrate.
Perfection is good, right? Perfection is good.
Yeah. At heart, Don Shula is very protective of the record. In 1985, his own Dolphins embarrassed the unbeaten Bears, handing the eventual Super Bowl champions their only loss.
Takes it in. What a victory for the Dolphins. Bears will not go undefeated.
That's what this whole thing, that's why we're sitting here talking about this 40 years after the fact. Nobody else can friggin' do it.
On November 14, 1993, Don Shula set out to do what many thought could not be done: surpass George Halas's all-time record for wins.
I picked up the paper that morning and I saw where Coach Shula was going for the record. And I called a friend of mine. I said, "I don't know if you're interested, but I'm getting on a train and I'm going to Philly. I want to see this. I want to be there when he breaks the record." I just have so much respect for him.
We need a drive. We got to put it together. We got to start running with the ball, pass protected, making plays.
The record would not come easy. Dan Marino was already lost for the season. Backup Scott Mitchell built a slim lead. Then he went down. But as he always had, Shula stayed the course.
Wouldn't it be a delicious touch of irony if Doug Peterson is able to pull out the record win for Don Shula, who over the years has had such great performances from backup quarterbacks?
Earl Morrill, even Tom Hattie at one time filled in a quarterback. Now Doug Peterson at the helm as he tries to break the record. What a special man and what a special person.
The man of the moment, the man of all time in the NFL. This is number 325, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Coach Shula being honored as he becomes the all-time winningest coach in the history of the National Football League.
The game ends, and I go right out there. I put my arms around the guy and give him a big hug.
rides in my life as a coach. One was after the Super Bowl, 17-0, and the other one was being carried off the field in Philadelphia after breaking Coach Hollis's record. So those are the two rides that I'm always going to remember.
I remember how excited I was, and I ran into the locker room without thinking, and some of the players weren't prepared for that.